statement?
Yeah, we've had a good couple days. We're going to have another practice this afternoon, 4:30, and keep it cranked up. We're really thankful to be out on the field and very appreciative of all the hard work so many people have done to allow us to get some football done with these young men. The student athletes at Cal are a great group, and we're glad to be associated with them.
All right, we're going to start with questions. Dave Bush, if you could unmute yourself and ask question.
Morning, Coach. I just wonder, how big a role will the fullback play in your offense? It's kind of disappeared the last couple of years, and just wonder what role it will have, that position will have.
It's a great question. We're looking forward to having a fullback on the field at times and really having some good concepts with it. Zach Angelillo is a converted linebacker from Fresno who's doing a super job. And then we have Drew Schlegel from Kentucky, who's doing some good fullback stuff as well just after 2 days. So got some good candidates there, and it definitely excites us about the possibilities.
Would they be primary blockers, or can you see them carrying the ball occasionally?
I think we'll with the fullback, you always need to pay his fee because they do a lot of blocking, but occasionally we need to pay his fee by handing it to him or throwing it to him at times. So they continue to do the heavy lifting and the dirty work there that is required of a fullback on the football field.
Thanks.
All right, next question, Lorenzo Reina.
So, Coach, to stay with the topic of fullbacks, Drew Schlegel, what's been his work ethic like? I mean, how much fun are you having coaching a guy who's coming over from the SEC to help fill a need?
Yeah, no, it's great to have him. He's got great experience. Kentucky, as we realized even yesterday, are playing some good football there in their conference, and their defense had a great day yesterday. But Drew's got good training from being there at Kentucky, so we're happy to have him on board. And he's had a good 2 initial days, still scratching the surface in terms of knowing what to do because he wasn't around last spring when we really installed the majority of our offense there in early March. But we'll get him up to speed and make it a gradual process.
All right, next up is Trace Travers from Rivals.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you this morning. Let's see. You mentioned there that you managed to install most of your offense during the 4 practices during the spring. Kind of what have you been able to install these past couple of days in getting out there, and maybe, I guess, just helmets at this point?
Yeah, just helmets. We've really installed just some basic foundations and basic concepts. So it's been pretty bare bones. The guys haven't played football, as we've talked about, since March. So we're not going to really get on the gas pedal till after we get back in football mode, football rhythm, with the players and the coaches. So we're working back through it in a methodical, deliberate pace because we want these guys to stay healthy and continue to be able to practice throughout the month.
Do you expect you'll be able to get back to what you termed as full throttle within the next couple of weeks?
Yes. Yep. That's what we anticipate. We're, like coaches do, we're planning our work and then we're working our plan. And the first 2 days have been really, really positive. So you can imagine we're excited about the future.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Jim Miguel from Better Insider.
Hey, Coach, we talked a little bit at your intro press conference about what it was like coming back to coordinating at the college level after a couple of decades. Now that you've had a chance to ease in with 4 spring practices and work with the guys in the off season, how would you say that transition has been? How satisfying has it been? How good a fit do you feel like it is?
Really have enjoyed it. It's been terrific. The quarterback room is a group of sharp guys. They really enjoy the game. We've been working a lot on our footwork, our command at the line of scrimmage, presenting the play in the huddle. There'll be some no huddle moments for our offense, but our guys have really, I think, embraced an entirely different system here in the last number of months. So I love being a part of it, and we've got a super staff as well. So I feel like the fit is a really good one.
Have you noticed much of an evolution in the game since you were here?
Well, yes. Joe Gibbs, when I worked for Coach Gibbs for the Redskins years ago, he talked about the game of football changes 15%, give or take, every year. And that was when he had come back from his retirement and thought if he'd been out of the game 6, 7, 8 years, shoot, that 8 times 15% or 7 years times 50%, you can do the math. I mean, almost a complete change. That's almost 100%. That's a lot of change. So last time I coached at the college level was at Virginia 18 years ago. So there's a lot of differences. There are a lot of things that are the same, whether it's high school, college, or pro football. But I definitely feel like I've got, a lot of ground to make up so I can be up to speed with the changes that I've missed out on.
Just a quick follow-up. You hear a little bit of behind the scenes talk here and there being in the media. And I've heard both that you're planning to keep things slimmer this season than you normally would because of the lack of spring ball. And I've also heard that you have a pretty complex pro playbook you're bringing to the programs. Which are you leaning towards at this point?
Well, I think our language is one that's real concise. It's a concept oriented. We don't want to be real wordy. And with concepts, the players need to know the entire concept, not just what one position does, because we want to be diverse and multiple in our formations. We don't want the defense to be able to plan on anything or be able to anticipate where one guy is going to line up each and every play. So there's going to require some studying on everyone's part, but you're right. We are going to keep the volume, the number of concepts under control so we can get good at a few things and have enough turns here in October that when we do play in November, we know what we're doing. We don't want guys unsure of anything. So that's going to require, with a limited amount of time, a limited number of concepts.
All right, next up we have Jake Curtis.
Yeah, Coach. You touched a little bit on Schlegel. Can you expand a little bit on Schlegel and Shaw and what you saw in them that made you think they would fit in at Cal?
Yeah, Bradrick Shaw from Wisconsin has had a good couple days. Has good hands, can catch the ball out of the backfield. We knew that before, and he proved it. Has proved it time and time again already in 2 days of practice. He's got good size, so great addition to the running back room. The running back room is a deep room. It's a great stable of ball carriers and pass receivers. So he adds to that depth, and he's definitely going to, warrant receiving a number of touches each and every game. Drew has been here 2 days as well. I know he's doing a super job already in special teams with Charlie Regal, and on offense, we're looking forward to the utilization of that fullback position to make us a little bit more difficult to defend.
Any follow-ups, Jake?
That's good for now. Thanks.
All right, next up we have Jackson Moore from 24/7.
Coach, just curious, coming from so many years in the NFL, if the 75 practice limit is something that's less of an impact on you and what you're used to doing in a practice at this time?
Oh, it's pretty similar. I think we would take, at one point it was 90, then it was 80 for in the NFL for camp. And, with our 105 or 106 guys we have here, it's great. It's great that we can have these practices where guys are getting turns at our concepts. So hopefully in the future, things continue to trend in the right direction and we get the entire team on the field, which would be ideal, obviously. But for now, we're just thankful to be out there in any amount of increments, and we're trying to make the most of it.
And to follow with your two freshman quarterbacks, is that practice situation one that, it's a tight window? Is it tough for them to develop as normal, or is it a situation where they're in that group of 35, maybe getting extra looks that they wouldn't get?
They're getting extra looks. And so the fact that we are splitting the squad a little bit, there's an opportunity for all the positions that are down the line a little bit on the depth chart initially to get some turns, where that's the best way to learn. As we all know, it's better to do it. Whether you succeed or you stub your toe, you're going to develop much more quickly by doing it rather than watching it. So it's a good thing.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to our second round of questions. Dave Bush.
Yeah, I have, Coach, I have the same question about tight ends that I asked about fullbacks. How prominent will the tight end position be in your offense?
Oh, we value tight ends like none other. The tight ends can help us be really multifaceted and diverse. A lot of tight ends have a strength, whether it's in the receiving department or the blocking department. I feel like our guys can do a little bit of both. They're very well trained under Marcus Tuiasosopo, so the tight ends are going to help us, especially in the pass game where tight ends could get matched up on a smaller DB or a slower linebacker. We can feel good about those matchups.
Good. Thank you.
All right, next up is Trace Travers.
Jackson kind of touched on it with the freshman quarterbacks, but can you run through your quarterback room? I think we're all pretty aware of what Chase can do, but what have you seen from the other guys like Devon, Spencer, Zach, Jaden, and Robbie?
Yeah, you're right. And Devon and Spencer both were forced into action last year, played when Chase got banged up a couple different times. So those guys have game experience. Robbie Rowell from Acalanes there in Lafayette does a nice job in practice, real sharp. So we're glad to have him on board. And then our two young guys, Braden Casey and Zach Johnson, are doing a nice job there, embracing our new system, our language. They're getting plenty of turns, which is great. So they can bump their head up against it out there on the field and get some good reps, which, like we talked about, is the best way to develop and learn.
All right, thanks, Trace. Next up is Jim McGill.
Yeah, Coach, can you clarify what the 75 limit entails? Is it 75 players that are allowed on the field or 75 players including staff on the field?
Players.
Good, that's what I thought. Thanks.
All right, next question is from Jake Curtis.
Yeah, Coach, you touched upon it with Trace, but can you expand a little bit on the importance of the backup quarterback, especially since Chase missed a lot of time last year, and sort of how that's, I don't know, do you get any sense at all at this point who the number 2 guy would be?
Oh, well, Devon Modster is running with the twos now, and he's doing a nice job. He's played a lot of football, as we know, played at UCLA, was there with Chip. Glad to have Devon. He's got great experience, and yeah, he does a super job. Both he and Chase are running with our 1s and 2s right now, and the other guys are kind of getting the scraps. Once again, we're just breaking into practice right now, so we're not having 3-hour practices where we're running 100 plays of practice. I think we've got maybe 36 or so plays scripted each practice. So of those 36 plays, Chase and Devon are getting the lion's share of those reps, and then the other young guys we work after practice with some periods, create some period simulations where they get their reps, and of course then if we have some extra time and Coach Wilcox says we get a few extra plays, the young guys get the scraps.
All right, any other questions for Coach Musgrave? All right, looks like that's it. Thank you, Coach.